Creativity, probably the hallmark of what separates decent spinners from great ones, and what separates great ones from the greatest in history. Don't believe me? Think of some of the greatest pen spinners of all time. Take Fram for example. Why was he one of the best spinners of all time? Was it because he improved massively at power tricks in a short time? Or was it because he broke a bunch of world records? Nope. It was in fact because his creativity and innovation in the hobby. He single-handedly created a whole other category of spinning that just broke every single idea of linkage-based spinning out of the waters. No one had ever seen anything like it before. Another great example would be the recent unbeatable Saltian. He reshaped the definition of finger cross as a whole. Completely. Before, finger cross was just like this addition some might use in a technical combo, or two-handed combo to make it easier. But Saltian literally brought the skill cap up a few solid levels single-handedly. Or is it even a skill cap? I say this because creativity isn't inherently hard to do, just hard to come up with. A perfect example would be isnt, the 2-time world champion, famous for changing the power category for everyone. He broke the limits of what was thought of as possible, only to break them again. But nowadays, you see many people doing freestyles that are as hard as some of his world tournament combos. Why is this? This is the same main reason why if a pen spinner from 2010 faced a pen spinner from 2025, the pen spinner from 2010 would get obliterated by the pen spinner from 2025 almost every time. Is it that the skill level for completing new things and landing harder things increased so much? Or is it that pen spinning as a hobby has rode the wave of creativity, following the steps of famous innovators of their time? Most likely the latter. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants, said by Newton in the 1670s. Greatness in many fields stems from innovation and discovery, so why would pen spinning be any different? It's hard to argue that learning a thumb round from a video tutorial is almost infinitely easier than trying to come up with a thumb round yourself if you just had a pen. The same holds true the further you progress in pen spinning. But why is it so hard to create innovation and come up with new things? And how do we get better at this? If you're like me, you've asked these same questions before, only to leave you stumped. I'll share what I've learned in my years of spinning so you don't have to go through the same struggles I did. I believe I've found two main ways to go about this. The first way is what I like to call the mechanical or engineering path, and you first do this through pen spinning notation, probably the best path if you're a beginner to innovating new things and a notation nerd like I was. You can first try mixing modifiers to different tricks and links, but this will only get you so far with one pen, one hand spinning. If you want to go down this path even further, you'll really need to think about pen spinning like an engineer or physicist. You'll need to think deeply and propose only possible solutions for how the path of the pen works in relation with your fingers. To get here, you will most likely need a strong understanding of notation, but also a deep understanding of how the world works in a sense. What I mean by this is taking ideas from different hobbies of similar things and somehow implementing them into pen spinning. For example, if you're into kendama, you could somehow find a way to incorporate some kendama tricks into pen spinning, possibly some stalls of some kind. I know nothing about kendama, so maybe it's not the best example, but you get the idea. Now the next main path to achieving innovation is what I like to call the artistic method. This more has to do with how pen spinning looks as an art form, how it progresses through a combo as an art piece, the structure of everything and how it visually flows with your fingers. When coming up with ideas this way, you definitely need a strong fundamental in technical skills to pull things off, as well as to build ideas off of. But when you're actually planning, you only think about it how it might seem as an art form. It's kind of hard to describe this, but you really need a strong understanding of different things, like power spinning, technical linkages, two-pen spinning, two-handed spinning, and finger cross even, to really make a big difference in my opinion. Obviously you don't need all of them, just some of them to a high degree. You may have heard that you need to learn the rules first in order to break them later. This holds true in pen spinning completely, because in fact, it really feels like you're trying to break the rules when coming up with original stuff this way. You basically try to throw your ideas of pen spinning linkages out of your head when making things, but you definitely need to be a really good spinner already for it to work. Next time you're making a combo, think of these two methods and think of which one you are most. And if you seem like you're too much of one of them, maybe try to do the other. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, check this one out next. See you next time.